idea is any user anywhere in the world, as long as they have a device that's capable of connecting to the internet, can access and can search, discover, and view videos from the web on their mobile phones. Right? So the idea is very simple. You don't need to download an app. You don't need to have any special configurations. If you're connected to the internet on your mobile phone, which in India is about 100 million people, worldwide it's much bigger than that, you go to the browser, type in viewclip.com and start using it. We have about 10 million monthly active users in India alone. We have about 35 million or so worldwide. And we deliver about 700 million video views a month worldwide, of which about 120 or so are from 120 million or so are from India. Okay? So, one of the comments I'd heard was, you can only do video when it's 3G. I think 3G definitely helps video in a big way, but even 2G, if you optimize the video for the network and for the device, whether it's a feature phone or a smartphone or a tablet, it works well even on a 2G network. And the fact that we've got 120 million video views just from India alone on a primarily 2G network is an indication of that.
And what's your business model?
We have two main business models. One of the decisions we made early on was to be a direct-to-consumer play rather than a platform play or a carrier-focused play. We work with carriers worldwide, but the first thing we wanted to do was build scale, which over time we have done over the last 4 years. And that's where the two business models kicked in. One of them is an advertising business model. Being a video site, video ads are definitely a big source of advertising for us, video ads or banner ads in a branding fashion. And the second business model is a freemium model, where today these 30 million users come to ViewClip. They are consuming content, paying the standard data charges. But then we spend a lot of time trying to understand what the user's behavior is. And let's say a user is watching a lot of yoga videos. Mm-hmm. We can then see, okay, he's watching a lot of these free yoga videos all over the web. Why don't we upsell him the most premium Baba Ramdev yoga video as an example? And there is a 5 to 7% chance that we have actually seen, a 5 to 7% probability of clicking on this upsell model. Zynga, Facebook, a lot of people have a freemium model. We have actually used that freemium model with our product as well, and we use either carrier billing or app store billing.
So you have one side, you're basically getting the videos, the other side is getting advertisers.
Right.
And then premium subscriptions.
Correct.
So that's really the...
That's right. So we get consumers over to the site. It's a primarily free site.
Yeah.
But the free part is monetized through ads. And then the freemium part is monetized through billing relationships with operators.
Perfect. And any interesting tidbits, top categories of videos?
Yeah. So it's been a pretty, two interesting tidbits I would throw out. One is, when we started the company 4 years back, our view was that we'd get most of our traction in the US and in Europe, because that's where the networks are better, the devices are better, data plans were cheaper. But what we saw was the exact opposite. We saw that countries like India, Southeast Asia, Middle East, LATAM did exceedingly well. And that was surprising to us in the beginning, because networks were not good 4 years back. Devices were mostly feature phones, and data plans were expensive. But what we completely underestimated was the power of mobile being the first screen, and in many cases the only screen, and the only access to the internet. And that has been a pretty phenomenal thing for us to watch.
Great. Right? Thanks a lot, Nikhil.
Sure. Yeah.
Good afternoon, Abdul.
Yeah.
About yourself.
I have spent the last 10 years evangelizing a category called telecom. From the time when I worked in a company called Reliance, and I think the total mobile numbers were abysmal. I think, I guess less than 100 million in this country, right now to about 800 odd million. Mostly over the 10 years I've been party to and instrumental of various launches, whether the last one being Photon, which is a wireless modem, which many of us have, and of course the 3G launch. And it's been a tough journey, because we view, and I'm saying at Tata, we really view the whole category as improving the quality of life. And any possible way we reach out, and I think that's where mobile internet gives us many other dimensions than the ones conventionally known. And I think haven't even scratched the surface on this one. So that's with 100 million odd people, I think that's set to grow exponentially, actually.
And what's your role at Tata?
Right now, I have moved to a different set of people, who are small businesses, large businesses, very large businesses, and we want to again, reach out to them, and we think it's a very, very promising area. Apart from the revenue or potential, of course, which they do not give, 50 rupees a month ARPU, and really to take out entire end-to-end solutions to these people, whether it's a small SME sitting in Tirupur or whether it's HDFC Bank sitting out of Mumbai. How do we work along? And there too, there's a challenge, obviously. That's my role.
And in terms of the numbers that you are seeing basically on your data networks, on data usage, you can share something?
I will not share exact numbers, but they're growing exponentially, absolutely. And I think it's directly function of the devices which are happening, and I must confess we have done precious little or nothing at all to really evangelize this medium. That is the big point I want to make. It's just that smartphones have come in and people have discovered it. But there has been no impetus either from marketeers or from the very complicated value chain which I was trying to study with ad aggregators, ad agencies, marketeers, technology platforms. It's so complicated, it's not funny. And we have done nothing much out there. So I think that will grow even further if all of us at least do something Monday morning.
And so essentially, how do you look at marketing, or how do you look at mobile marketing? I mean, what's your thinking on this?
I think it's got a terrible press. Mobile marketing in India is bulk SMS is equal to spam is equal to get out of my site. I think that is the unfortunate truth there. There have been a whole lot of campaigns, which, including what we have done, which I would call in the category of cutesy campaigns. One, cute little things, but nothing sustained, really, over a period of time. Second is, I think creativity is abysmal in this area. I think creative minds have not even worked around the fact, of talking to, people and using screens which they are familiar with because they use them daily. So I think creativity has not even, started out here in this category. And I don't know what, the reason to, get into this whole thing. I think lies in the hands of a very few set of people. I just don't know because, and one more thing which is unfortunate, maybe because of the pricing structure, many of them view it as a commodity. So, it ends up as saying that, well, you want to reach so many messages, aap kya rate doge? That is pathetic, and that's how the situation is. So when I meant evangelizing, I meant, removing all these cobwebs.
So we'll get back to what things we can do to change it. Thanks a lot. Kiran, about you?
Yeah, hi. So I've been in the digital space since 1997 now, so been a while. Spent the last decade trying to get advertisers to spend on the internet media. And I think after 10 hard years, we're finally seeing people beginning to spend and trying to sort of, actually get a return on those investments and understanding the media much better than what they did years ago. Having said that, we've now expanded from the, what I would call as the PC web into the mobile space as well. Things are sort of slightly better on the mobile side compared to where it was, the way people are looking at it 10 years ago on the mobile, on the internet. I believe that in the next few years, we should see advertisers trying out various things. Like Abdul said, we need a lot more creativity, and that will drive and help advertisers understand really how to use this media.
So how does Ozone Media differentiate itself with some of the other companies who are there on the innovation side, on technology, etc.? Can you talk a little about that?
So one of the critical things, one of the most important things that we're trying to get advertisers to understand is to start trying out mobile. So we have a huge advertiser base on the internet, and we're trying to get these advertisers to start using the mobile platform as well to increase the reach. So, on the mobile side, we have, I think, a reach of about close to 60 million users. And we're telling educating our advertisers to use this reach to sort of, use it very effectively as well. So that's really where we are going towards, and that's really our USP. We're talking cross-platform now, and I believe that is going to be the future for most of the advertisers in India as well.
Okay. And You also have a presence outside of India,
Right.
and as part of Ozone Media.
Yes.
So are there learnings which you've had in other markets, probably US, UK, etc., where you'll do business?
So, US is obviously much ahead in terms of the learning curve. Mobile is viewed as, it's about a $600 to $800 million market size in the US. I think India, people are still yet to understand the mobile media completely. You have agencies who are just now starting out, setting up their mobile divisions or getting people to sort of understand mobile. I would think that India might leapfrog a little ahead of the others because of the fact that we are a follower market in that sense.
Okay. Great. I think that's a good set of introductions, and I think between us here, we cover pretty much all the channels on the mobile. You also have the operator side of the view. So my company does work on the SMS and voice side. You have mobile internet from two of the companies. You have in-app from vServe, and you have video from ViewClip. So keep the questions coming. I think we see a fair amount of them. Let's take up one successful campaign, a marketing campaign. If I were to ask you which is a showcase campaign, and I'll start with giving one example. I think you're all familiar with the whole India against corruption movement, which grew last year. So one of the ideas that we tried out in the early days, about almost a year ago, was using the missed call for an opt-in. And the numbers were absolutely astounding. The idea of just giving a missed call to opt-in and then get regular updates, messages from the movement. And that really helped mobilization tremendously, both in April and August. And we received, India Against Corruption received about 20 million, so 2 crore unique mobile numbers. So 2 crore people basically called in through the period. And that was a huge base because, and of course then segmentation happened by telecom circle. That's the only information which was available. So messages were then sent out region-wise for mobilizations and meetings which would take place. But that's again a great example of using missed call, costs zero from everyone knows a missed call. But then use that as an opt-in to get more information, giving options to people to opt out also. Deepak?
Yeah.
So one example of a marketing, of a campaign.
So I just noticed, someone pinging here, 2 things. Most popular one I can read it is leads. Yeah. So I'll give examples of 2 case studies which we did. One for an FMCG brand, another for the telecom brand. In the FMCG category, what we notice for the FMCG marketers is typically they made an app. So this is a brand called Axe, and they made a very interesting app to engage with users. So what I find is, for brands, typically on mobile right now, in order to engage with customers, they use app as a very effective channel to reach out and engage with users. So we ran that campaign on the in-app advertising network of vServe, and we generated close to about 500,000 downloads for them in a short period of 2 weeks. Apart from this, what was interesting for the brand to know is what was the unique reach we were able to offer to them. So we were able to clearly demonstrate to them that we reached out to close to 2 million unique users who saw their campaign, and out of that we had a disproportionate conversion. We had 500,000 users downloading that. Yeah. So that was one case study. Over and above that, what we did was, so whilst a download is just initiation of an interest by a user, subsequent to that, we also enabled analytics in that particular application. So our advertiser was aware of the level of engagement users were doing with that particular application. So that was one. On the other hand, let me take an example of a lead-based campaign. So we were working with, incidentally, the person who was leading Photon marketing in Bombay. And we told him, how can we, mobile as a medium can help him, give him more leads or differentiated media. So they were running campaigns only on the online platform. And they were telling us that a lot of their campaigns or the leads which they were generating were predominantly metros. Yeah. So when we went to them, we said that mobile today, our platform represents a far uniform user base in the country. So if your product, so their product runs in 68 cities in the country. Yeah. So they were able to leverage a spread of leads which was across 68 cities, vis-a-vis online, which gets skewed to a limited cities. We did a lot of leads, and that's how they could see value in it.
Great. Nikhil?
So, you know, we've run quite a few campaigns, video ad campaigns, banner campaigns, but when I think about a successful campaign, the thing that I get the maximum number of questions around is, how do I know it's successful? I mean, that's what the brand wants to know, right? And I'll give you an example of how we are sort of attacking this successful campaign business. There was a brand, Sonata, which came to us. They wanted their video ads to be run. I think they took their TV commercials, created versions of them and put them on the mobile. We said, in order for us to explain to you how successful your campaign is, we need to be able to quantify it in a way that we both believe is fair. So we actually ran a survey before we ran the campaign. The survey asked questions like, have you ever heard of the Sonata brand? Do you own anything from the Sonata brand? And so on, right? Your demographic and all of that. That was a 3-day survey, and we had about 50, 60,000 responses, completed responses. That gave us a baseline. We then ran a 3 or 4 week video ad campaign, right? And they wanted to target it by device, by type of content it shows up against, and so on. We ran that for 4 weeks. And then post-campaign, we again ran a survey with very similar questions. And the thing that we wanted to answer for them was, how much of an uplift did you get for your brand? How many people have said that because of seeing the ad, they now want to purchase that product within the next 3 months or within the next 6 months? We now started talking about metrics that the advertiser or the brand cared about. And that's what we called as a successful one.
Abdul?
Thanks for one case study there on Photon. But yeah, on Brantara Docomo, I think one large thing, which it wasn't a very exciting kind of campaign, but the point was really to increase the number of online recharges. That was very important for us and as a business metric. And we sliced and diced the entire market. We figured out where the issue was, and we simply figured out that we were not communicating to them. And we did use a reset. We have Ranbir Kapoor, and we used that in a very sort of simple message. And those online recharges went up 20-fold. It was just a matter of awareness.
20 times?
Yeah, 20 times. Just by that campaign, just 24.
And where do you run the campaign?
We picked out certain areas where we felt, that it had potential for online recharges. It was, I think, maybe 15, 20 cities kind of thing. But we could slice and dice, and that was, I think, besides we have partnered with our friends here several times to really increase, video downloads and so on. And we had, stuff on New Year's and all that. But lots of interesting ones, not the mega one which I want still.
Kiran?
Yeah, so we recently ran a very interesting campaign for Titan Fast Track, where they decided to go for sort of a performance-based campaign where they said 25% off on their products, and they've seen fantastic response. I mean, from our side, what we could look at was the kind of click-through rates that the campaign got was north of 1.5%, and they got a lot of conversions at their end on the mobile platform itself, which I think was very interesting. To see that how you could actually run an interesting campaign to sort of say, I'll give you a percentage off or whatever, and look at results.
Great, thanks. And we've got a lot of comments and questions come in. We'll get to that in about few minutes. We'll just take the other 2 questions quickly, and then we'll get to the interaction. So what are the 1 or 2 top barriers which are holding back explosive growth of this medium? The devices are there, the users are there, the attention is there, and yet essentially mobile marketing is being treated basically as a small fraction of digital, which itself is a small fraction of the big ad spend. So 1 or 2 very quickly. Kiran?
So one of the key barriers that we are seeing is that a lot of our customers, we have direct relationships with about 40% of 40% of our business comes from direct relationships. These guys are a little slow in mobilizing their sites. I think that is one of the...
so lack of mobile websites.
Lack of mobile websites. So I think that is very important. I think these guys need to get on to...
So I think that's one Monday morning thing which I think people can take away. If you have a site and it doesn't have a mobile equivalent, do it and use auto user agent recognition. So please don't give names like m dot or slash mobile. The same URL should basically redirect automatically to mobile on mobile devices. All this technology is very easily available.
That is one. And the second one we notice is that it takes a lot more education of the people in agencies and people as well to sort of understand as to how to sort of use the mobile
So good
platform.
business, how many more ad techs?
Yeah, we should.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Abdul?
Yeah, I think the biggest reason is a lazy mindset. And people,
Who's lazy?
the whole lot, the
Whole
entire ecosystem is lazy. Not, I just noticed somebody saying that, aren't operators responsible? That was for the problem Abdul said. That's one of the questions there. But it's a very, very, very lazy mindset. It's absolutely frivolous the way people allocate money to, and I will mention it to, programs like IPL with, 40 crores, 60 crores as if it's random amounts there. And I think one mistake we have done is we have, put forth so many analytics in front of the marketeer that he says that I want some 5 more.
So on one side, they will spend tens of crores without asking for
Casually.
Casually.
On something called TAM, which I don't even want to get into in this forum.
And here, even that 1 crore spend needs...
No, it's not even 1 crore. 20 lakh spend is handled by the assistant digital marketing manager and is questioned 30 times and never reaches the CMO.
Brilliant. Okay. So I think that's perhaps another thing for Monday morning changes. Nikhil?
I think the language needs to be the same between the brands, the agencies, and the publishers, right? Each person talks a different language. It comes down to, like the example I gave earlier, what is the 1 or 2 metrics that we all can agree on and deliver on? I think it's as simple as agreeing on those.
Yeah. So Monday morning, broadcast Abdul's pitch to all marketers. Yeah. So I think on a serious note, I think the ecosystem is complex. Currently, organizations are busy with handling digital, handling social, so that expanse is really expanded. So I think organization leaders need to take a call and put dedicated people who could focus on solving this per se. So fundamentally, if I were to compare this to the online ecosystem, about a decade back, there were a bunch of companies or people who were evangelizing online as a medium. At that stage, they used to challenge some of the traditional agencies, saying that they would not have the time and resources, whilst we would put huge amount of focus on it and solve this problem. Yeah. The same challenge now is with existing digital companies. That how do they embrace mobile whilst they continue running what they are, right now handling.
So we got a few things out here, and I think which we can basically are probably the Monday morning thing, so we'll get back to the questions. I'll just summarize very quickly. It's education, really, of the entire ecosystem, including agencies and marketers. I think limiting it to a few key metrics rather than going all over the board on metrics. I think there is need for dedicated people. All the options, India is one unique market where all the advertising options, print, TV, radio, internet, etc., all are growing, including mobile. So you need to have dedicated people who understand this medium, and there. Lack of mobile websites, I think was another key point. And one more which I'll add to this is that especially in e-commerce, a lot of advertising which takes place on the internet is, I think what's cost per action, or for e-commerce sites, especially a lot of money gone in there. Now, you don't have the ability to convert the clicks to cash because of lack of payment options on the mobile. So that is another thing which probably needs to get fixed. So let's get to the questions. If we can scroll down. So we'll start from the bottom. People who sent in earlier should not, oh, we missed out a few, I think. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, let's start. How do I make, and keep it to 15, 20-second answers if possible. People can then always contact you later. How do I make a video go viral on mobile? Nikhil?
Put it up on ViewClip, that's right. So I think the most important thing for anything to go viral is that the barriers to adoption should be minimal. So on the internet, today if you think about which videos you watch videos because somebody sent you a link. You click on the link, you watch the video. On the desktop, it's easy. Everyone is Windows, everyone is Flash. On mobile, it's very fragmented. So how you can come up with a way which does not require the user to do much other than click and it plays, which means make sure that whatever video you, platform you use, however you deliver, you do it with independent of device type, of network type, of screen size, and so on. And that's, that's something we see happen in a big way.
Okay, so another question. Given how fast tech is changing in mobile, does it even make sense to invest much in feature phones? Should we not just leapfrog to smartphones? Deepak?
Yeah, so firstly, currently in India, smartphones are less than 6-7% of the total devices sold in the country. Yeah, so if you want to reach millions of users, you need to be on the feature phone ecosystem. How is that going to change? So like I mentioned earlier, 90% plus users are today on feature phones. If you want those 90% user base, make a feature phone app. If you're happy living, catering to a small set of people, do a smartphone app. How is that going to change in the long term? That percentage shift is not happening overnight. Yeah. Today it is 90-10. Tomorrow, a year down the line, max, it's probably going to be about 85-15. 2 years, 3 years down the line, that mix would still be about 75-25. Okay. Yeah. I hope that gives an answer on feature phone versus smartphone.
Okay, so besides marketing and promotions, what are the other engaging ways to build traffic on websites? Who wants to take that up?
I think besides marketing and promotions, what other engaging ways to really build traffic on websites is you need to stimulate word of mouth on those websites. I think you have to have a website and unfortunately marketing and promotions kind of cover the gamut, but another point I would like to make is the integration of the campaigns. So you please do not divorce your campaigns which are happening above the line along with all this. You need to figure out a thread and make those campaigns work really.
Okay. I think another question for you. In the Photon case, how was the lead generated? Or probably for Deepak? Yeah, okay, how was the lead generated? Through what? Through what content? Please specify.
So on Photon, because we were largely targeting heavy data users, so the campaign was running on mobile games, so people who are consuming mobile games.
Mobile games.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So whenever people were opening a game and which they have downloaded in the past, every time they could open a game, they used to see a full screen ad promoting the scheme of Photon, and subsequently we had the lead page which was inbuilt into the game itself. So the user does not have to skip the game. Yeah.
Kiran, one question for you. How long would it take to do online PC-like innovations on mobile as it's going to get more personalized and more private?
So I guess it's the, like the initial days of the PC web. I mean, you'll have to start with trying out with what you have. Innovations don't necessarily mean you need to have rich media or whatever at any given point of time. You could try out with some good creative ideas. Having said that, things will improve over the next few years. I mean, as bandwidth improves over the mobile media, you will start seeing much more rich media, and you're already seeing video being consumed on the mobile, so you could see much more innovation happening there.
Okay. So you're someone who wants to know numbers. How many off-deck mobile internet users are in India? And how is it divided among tier 1, 2, 3 cities? I think the first number is pretty clear. It's about 100 odd million.
Right.
I think Vodafone has publicly said they have 32 odd million, 30 something million. So that's about 100 million. Yeah. And tier 1, 2, 3 split, anyone wants to take a?
So I think the one part of the question is how much of that 100 million is off deck?
How
right?
much
and
is
I
off
think
deck?
What we have seen across different operators, the numbers thrown out to us are about it's anywhere between 80-20, 80 being off deck,
okay.
20 being on deck to 60-40. That's the range across carriers.
Okay.
So maybe in the interest of the audience, just to clarify what off deck means. Off deck so on deck is a user going only to the carrier portal. So the Airtel Live or the Docomo portal, that's on deck. Any user going outside of that single property, to thousands of applications or thousands of websites, that's off deck.
Okay, I think we got a lot of questions coming in. I'll just pick up a few. Do you think 4G will be a game changer?
I think it's not about G, and that's the big point I think the US has seen. 4G or LTE is really an advanced state, and that's just like a faster flyover, nothing else there. It is dependent on at what price proposition and what is being served out there. Otherwise, you will be into a situation where, if, like a 3G situation, where 3G was felt by the consumer to be overpriced. Consumers expected everything on 3G at the price of 2G. So it really depends on what price proposition and how long the operator will be able to sustain it,
Okay.
and be a profitable business and not bleed.
Okay. What is the current scenario in India in terms of campaign objective expectations from mobile marketing? Being good reach, engagement can happen, but I probably missed out. I think we can skip that. Anyone wants to answer that, or we'll just go on? Okay. Why are we even saying the word lead when talking about mobile marketing, a relatively new medium? Is it required, or is it just the easy way out?
It depends on the convenience, So typically marketers on the other side. So there are people who are risk takers and who say, I am going to use this for the purpose of mobile marketing. Whilst there are many others who say, go to brands and say, I'll convince this marketer because he's spending so much of online, so let me just get him to replicate that. That's really how we see the difference.
Okay, we got a couple minutes more. So you want to summarize maybe one or two key things that marketers can take away based on, I think you've seen some of the questions which have come in, what people are asking. Kiran?
Yeah, I think.
How do we get this thing whole going faster?
Yeah, I think people should quickly mobile enable their sites, get to sort of understand as to what kind of users they're getting on from the mobile platform, understand it, and use this medium very quickly. I think that's going to be the most critical thing. I think people really need to get on the mobile platform very quickly.
Great.
You can't learn swimming through a PPT. That's all I have to say.
Jump in.
I mean, the thing I'd leave you with is that the mobile internet is already happening. It's not going to happen next year and the year after. It's already happening in a big way. The only question is, what is the metric that both sides can agree on? And if it's a brand, it could be reach. I mean, it could be a brand upliftment or intent to purchase. If it's a transaction, it's different metrics, but agree on them, agree on two, and get moving, because it's happening in a big way already.
Just to reinforce, learn it before the country gets to 200 million, It's already 100 million, so wake up and learn it.
Great. I think the 100 million figure is very important. I think people from Google have said it, and the numbers which are coming out. I think till about a year ago, numbers which were coming out were, we have about maybe 20, 25, 30 million mobile internet users. But the usage is already happening, from social networking sites to download sites. So the users are there. I think it's now being able to, the 100 million is important because it's pretty much the same number as the PC audience. And that's on the mobile internet. You have another few 100 million more which can be reached through SMS and voice, even though there are some TRAI regulations, but those media are available for you. And then you have, of course, the feature phones through apps, feature phones and smartphones through apps, etc. So there's a rich diversity that is there. So users are there, attention is there. And I was telling someone, India is one of the only markets in the world where the mobile really has become the first screen in people's lives. And now it's for marketers to start innovating, putting separate teams together, not asking 20,000 questions, start putting the money in, and then you will learn. And I think that's most important to take away Monday morning. Thank you.